In this video, I'll walk you through creating this figure from start to finish in Sayugo. After uploading images, you can label protein targets by click and dragging a line across the bands you'll want to quantify or use in a figure. Then type the protein name in the input field. If the image you want to use doesn't contain the protein ladder, you can still accurately mark molecular weights by first grouping the image you want to use with the image containing the protein ladder. Then, starring the image intended for the figure and quantification, and finally, labeling the molecular weights as desired. The color of the line between the molecular weight markers and the crop region determines whether it will show up in your figure. Although not shown here, you can delete crop regions by clicking on a region and typing delete or backspacing again once the label field is empty. Sometimes you might find it more convenient to use the rotated rectangle crop tool to capture a region of interest, like so. Now I'll annotate the remaining images I want for my figure. Now that I've finished annotating, I'm ready to create my figure. The crops in my figure each contain 12 bands across. The two extra columns on the outside are for the protein label and molecular weight marks. The inner cells are sample labels, and the large merge cell is for images. I can use the search bar to find my target, click to select, and click again to place it in the figure. As I do this, you'll notice that the protein labels and molecular weight marks automatically appear next to the crop region placed in the figure. I can easily add rows to the top or bottom of the figure and just as easily delete them. I can add columns in between by clicking here, or on the sides by clicking here. If my bands aren't aligned perfectly, I can easily adjust the crop boundaries from within the figure, like so. To label our samples, I'll start by merging the cells corresponding to each sample type. Quickly, I'll angle the cells to 45 degrees, making sure that the value of the angle is not 0, and then I'll label stomach, kidney, liver, and spleen. And I'll quickly label the doses by pressing click and shift on samples having the same dose. Finally, to create brackets, I'll select the border I want, make its width 95%, and set the bracket height at -5 to protrude underneath the cell. Setting it to +5 would put the bracket in the other direction. Now I'll quickly underline the dose cells, put boxes around my crops, style my target labels, label my drug. I'll make this column a little bit wider, and we're done. And I can preview the figure by hiding the grid lines before finally exporting. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you have any questions, you can ask on Sayugo's live help.